Thank you. So our next question is coming from Leah. Leah, please state where you're from and ask your question.
Thank you, Michael. Hi, Anna. I'm from Davie, Florida. And my question is for my daughter. She just got some blood work done because she was having stomach pains and she's 5 years old. And we found that she has some lead in her blood at 1.2 and very high triglycerides. I am conscious. We're not vaccinated. I try to eliminate any lead items, eat a healthy diet, mainly organic. So, and she has low magnesium, low vitamin D. So I was, to be honest, shocked because I'm doing everything I can. If anything, I feel like I've been the extreme parent compared to all the other friends that I have. So I'd love your input, any specific vitamins, minerals, or brands I should be using for my 5-year-old.
Right. So 5-year-old is also eating in other places, right? In school, kindergarten. Do you pack food for her?
Great question. They do provide some snacks at school, but she has lunch from me.
Okay, great. So you have control all the way. So lead poisoning is so common today. If you learn about Flint, Michigan, with all the kids that were poisoned with lead from that river water that was a cesspool. Now, so it depends on what kind of water do you give her. I would suggest to get a distiller and just give her pure distilled water and give her juices, of course, like the juice we make here with celery, cucumber, and the sprouts, sunflower pea sprouts. That is amazing for her. And, you know, the fruits that she eats needs to be organic. So you have done good choices. The thing is, it's in everywhere. It's in the soil. Now, if we eat fish, but are you pure plant-based?
Let me unmute her. Go ahead, Leah.
No. I have been a little bit concerned because she said she's been feeling weak. So then I started incorporating a little bit of fish and a little bit of pasture-raised eggs.
Right. Okay. So both the eggs and the fish have pollution, and especially the fish is one way to get lead. You know, lead, cadmium, mercury, parasites, the PFAS that I talked about, the forever chemicals, synthetics chemicals. So it's not a good choice. So if she felt weak, then what I would suggest is let's add some good B12 for her. B12 that needs to be soil-based. Vitamin D. Chlorella is amazing to help her clean up. You could give her 1 or 2 pills a day of chlorella. Chlorella is a form of algae. It's a green algae. It's amazing to clean up heavy metals and chemicals. Taking baths, give her a bath twice a week with sea salt and baking soda. Get some aluminum-free baking soda and put her in there. And put aromatherapy oils. She will have fun in there. Mm-hmm. So let's get rid of the toxic food like eggs, dairy, fish, or whatever that you thought she needed. We have 4 kids, 8 grandkids. None of them have ever touched any animal products. And, you know, they never missed a day of school. They've been so healthy. Of course, we packed every morning, and so that we had control. And more or less, we had to tell kindergarten and schools that they couldn't feed them any dairy and gluten products, which takes away the pizza and the cakes and the cookies and all that. That is for aftercare. So you got to make sure that even the snacks that they give, so you can bring your own snacks. You can make it. If you have a dehydrator, you make snacks so easy. You get like walnuts, pecan, almonds. You just soak them overnight and then then you fix them up with the spices she might like, if she likes cinnamon or carob, whatever she might like, and then put them in the dehydrator for 24 hours, and they have amazing taste. And our kids did a lot of sunflower seeds, and we would soak them and sprout them. They sprout very easy. And then our kids like spicy stuff, so we would put cayenne pepper and garlic and all kinds of spices, ginger maybe, and dehydrate that for 24 hours. So, and I can make cookies, like walnut cookies I used to make, and there is no limit. If you get it dehydrated, you make a lot of your own snacks, and it's much cheaper. Plus, you know exactly what's in there.
Great. Thank you so much for that. So what are your thoughts on using colloidal silver instead of antibiotics?
So colloidal silver has been amazing. I mean, in our own life, our kids have never needed antibiotic. And so silver has been the way to go. And even when we travel, we take silver up the nostril, because that's obviously where the bugs come in. If you know from COVID, and the testing was actually up the nostrils to see if we had some bugs there. So if we can clean up with silver, it's amazing. We take it orally. If I have a wound on my hand or a wound that I cut myself, the first thing I would do is to spray silver on it. It's the original antibiotic. There is times for antibiotics, of course. It depends on where that child is at with their immune system. How did you raise them? What are they, what are they doing? What kind of climate are they in? What kind of pollution are they constantly in? So that is individual. So there is a place for antibiotic, of course, but if I can use natural antibiotics, and we use garlic in our food, we use ginger, we use turmeric, curcumin is fantastic to help to boost the immune system. So when you are on raw food diet, you realize that your immune system is as good as it can be with all the pollution. It will take care of you through that, and it will support you. So, for us, there is no question of the diet that we all should be on. And sometimes you doubt on it because you're not educated. What we do here at Hippocrates Wellness, we educate it. We show you what is possible. We show you before and after blood tests, and you feel it. You feel like you're being yourself again, not only physically, but emotionally and spiritually.
Great, thank you. So a quick follow-up on that question. So after let's say you have to have an antibiotic, like let's say you get bit by a tick and you get exposed possibly to Lyme disease, and you really feel like you have to take an antibiotic. How do you rebuild your gut after you've had an antibiotic?
Yeah, so the 100 trillion microbes you have called microbiota, that is very affected by everything like we talked about today, but antibiotic is big time. So you need to take probiotic, and you need to eat prebiotic. Prebiotic is all the stuff we eat, and then take probiotic while you're doing it and for many months after, because antibiotic takes months and months to clean up from your system.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And, what do you eat for lunch, for dinner? What does your normal day look like for food?
Well, what we serve here, breakfast, we don't eat. Breakfast is our juices and water with lemon and so on, and supplement. Lunch here is an amazing mix of sprouts and leafy greens. And we have nut pate sometimes, we have avocado, we have, we make so many amazing dishes. We did zucchini pasta, and there's no limit of what we have. And then at night, it's also a sprout salad. And naturally, if I had cancer now, I would be 100% raw. I would actually not have anything cooked. Cooked food creates something called leukocytosis. Leukocytosis means that my immune system actually will have to attack it as if it was a virus, bacteria. So it lowers my immune system. So I don't need that when I'm fighting cancer, because I need all I have for my immune system to realize that, first of all, I have a problem and I need to attack it. And it's amazing to see. And there are pictures of this happening inside your body. And so you don't have to doubt that this is possible, because it's actually happening. But you don't want to tax the system with things that are doing the opposite. So now what is my diet then? So it's 80% raw, it's raw all day. And I have 20% of it is cooked like a soup. It's not a big thing. It's a soup, it's a piece of squash, it's some sweet potatoes. It's maybe millet, quinoa, amaranth. It's very simple foods, because main reason that I am plant-based is to be raw, to eat, to get most of the nourishment. If I have a problem, if I have a cold or a flu, I will definitely be 100% raw. I go back to everything that I know that will get my immune system in top shape again.
Great, thank you. And does drinking coconut water from a bottle from the supermarket, does that feed disease since it has sugar? It does is regular coconut sugar good for it, or regular coconut water good for you?
So regular here every Wednesday, because we fast on Wednesday, the ones who can. And then we serve for lunch, we serve our coconut water from coconuts here from Florida. Most of them are own, and these are green coconut, and that water is clear like water. So of course, when you buy it in the store, you buy organic. It's pasteurized because you cannot sell, it will not last. You have the fresh coconut water. It looks red in those bottles. That doesn't last many days at home, and that would be better for you and a little more expensive. But what do you do with this coconut water? The best would be to dilute it with some good distilled water, at least half.
Great, thank you very much. So cacao powder has saturated fat. Should we avoid cacao butter because of this? And how about coconut oil?
The coconut butter?
Cacao butter? It's
cacao butter. Oh, cacao butter.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cacao butter. Yes, that is a treat that is made into treats, and coconut, and it's unfortunately coconut butter is saturated fat. So the less of that, the better. These are made into treats, and that's all they should ever be. So let's hope we don't live on treats.
And how about, so coconut oil, same thing?
Coconut oil is not, we don't use coconut oil. Coconut oil for your skin, I mean, people use it all over the world, it's fine. And so that's fine, but we're not going to put it in our food, and we will not heat any oil. No oil is good enough to be heated. So if you want oil in your soup, on your food, after it's done and on the plate, you can add your own, but you're not ever going to heat up. They turn to Frankensteins. They're totally toxic and carcinogen.
And should we eat olives, and do they have to be raw?
So olives, there's so many fine forms of olives, the black, the green, the sun-dried, you name it. And we serve them all here. And it's a fun add-on. Yes, it has great omega-3. And so it's an add-on to the salad that we make here.
All right, great. Thank you. So Sally K. Norton just wrote a book called Toxic Superfoods: How Oxalate Overload is Making You Sick and How to Get Better. In the book, she says that beans, quinoa, and whole grains are gut irritating foods. Are there any health risks from eating plant-based foods such as beans, whole grains, quinoa, and green vegetables? Could it be bad for our kidneys? Is she correct?
Well, no, that depends on where she comes from, because if you sprout, so every seed, nut, grain, and bean here is sprouted, and you get rid of all the problems, and you actually enhance the product. So I take a broccoli seed that, compared to the broccoli, it will be actually 30 times more nourishing, and none of the problems that she's talking about, unfortunately. And that, unfortunately, this is making a lot of people confused about what they really should eat. And that's when people start eating fish and eggs and meat, like you heard. And so it's sad that we don't give the right information and how we really should treat food and seeds, nut, grain, and beans. Totally different. So
Okay.
we don't have a problem with this. We don't have a problem.
All right, great. And what are your thoughts on the current or the new use of the diabetic drug Ozempic for weight loss?
Oh gosh, there's just one more thing for weight loss. No, it's horrendous. And if you want to lose weight, you know what you have to do. You have to lift weights. So we have two fats. We were born with brown fat, and we now stores white fat. The first decade is brown fat, mainly on our shoulders, on our back. White fat sits right here on our gut. And white fat will burn off with brown fat. And how I make brown fat, funny enough, is lifting weights, sleeping, eating actually good fats, essential fatty acid that you don't make. You have to eat it every day. Avocado. So now University of Illinois did a study and found that women, it didn't work as much for men, but if women wants to lose weight and they eat one avocado a day, it was a huge change. It's amazing. So you got enough fat to help you lose the bad.
Okay, great.
And so no medication, no pharmaceutics. It's not ever going to do what your lifestyle will do.
Okay, and bear with me here. My computer's got a little funny on me here. So there we go. So, so what kind of bras should women wear that won't increase their risk of breast cancer?
Well, so they need organic. They need to find organic sources and organic bras without underwire, because some of them still have underwire. So you buy organic cotton bras, and it's the best you can find now. There will be in future hemp, there will be bamboo, there will be a lot of different. When I worked with it, I did organic cotton, and the people that had them couldn't talk good enough about it. It felt amazing, and wider straps is important, and that is the size that you really need, because 6 times greater risk for breast cancer. That's a big deal, and most women never had an idea about this. I've seen one of our former guests. She is a yoga teacher, and her bra was really tight to be able to do all the movement. And the cancer came exactly where the underwire was.
Okay. So that's specifically why you recommend no underwire, is because that pressure of where the underwire is problematic? Okay.
It's detriment, because you realize you have ducts in the breast, you have lobules. It is a lot of lymph fluid that needs to clean up all the time. And that is why, when, for example, my diet is toxic, I'm in a toxic world, the water I drink is not purified, slowly but surely, this gets into my whole system and my lymph. And my lymph is the filter system in the body. So it's supposed to clean up every day. And if I don't give it the chance with tight bra, I keep all these toxins in there. And that's the last thing you want to do.
Thank you. Should we use distilled water just for drinking, or should we also use it for cooking?
You could do both, but for sure for drinking. Like you heard Dr. Spicer say that if you have a whole house filter, if you have then also a reverse osmosis, but they don't take everything. And because these are micro-sized, so small, distilled water is really the purest water. And there is big sizes for a big family. There is the 1 gallon, which you can make easy, 2 gallons in a day and store it in a glass jar in the fridge afterwards. That doesn't need, the 1 gallon doesn't even need a plumber. It's no hookup, it's just electric. And you put it on, you put tap water into it, and you get good distilled water in a few hours. It's going to be what we have to do until we get rid of big time corporations that pollute the world for greed.
Great, thank you. So why do you think that so many authors recommend the keto diet? What does the best evidence say about its short and long-term health consequences versus a whole food plant-based diet?
It's night and day. And this diet is actually the ultimate keto diet. And because we do have the right kind of fats, we have essential fatty acid, we have the right kind of live food, nourishment. And, it's proven itself for nearly 70 years. And other things, keto diet, the blood type diet. I mean, it just keeps coming on, and they all have something good in it, but they don't have the years behind them of seeing what happens to people when they're on it. Because people come here and they've been on these diets, and the difference is night and day when they really can nourish themselves. Yeah.
Good, thank you. So is diabetes caused by too much sugar or too much fat?
So it's both, okay? But fats are the biggest source, and that is meats and fish, chicken, eggs, dairy. That is actually the biggest source of insulin resistance. So when people come here and they have diabetes, they find that they need less medication, less insulin, because it's plant-based. And of course, we take sugar away, we take fruit away, and we put more supplements. There is supplements like Orthomolecular has an amazing called dioxinol that we use. We use Chlorella, we use enzymes, we use systemic enzymes that are metabolic enzymes. And they find slowly but surely they might not need any medication, especially if it's type 2. Type 1, if they get off meat, fish, chicken, eggs, dairy, all of that, they're going to see an amazing reduction of their insulin. Maybe they need some, but it's going to be reduced, and the side effects going to be reduced big time.
And given that fat is it's gumming up the cells, why are some fats, namely plant-based fats, okay, and animal fats bad?
Yeah, like we talked about, coconut fats not so good, right? So the fats that we get from the sprouts and the vegetables and the nuts and the seeds and sprouted beans and sprouted grains, it's totally different. So look at this. When you sprout something, you break down protein to amino acid, fat to fatty acid, carb to simple sugar. So fatty acid is essential fatty acids. That is the easiest thing for you to digest and to nourish every part, your brain, your heart, every part of your body.
Thank you. So how many people have you treated personally, and how many people have you guys treated at the Hippocrates and with this diet, and what percentage of people do you see get better from the ailments they come with?
Oh, okay. So,
and by the way, and sorry to interrupt, we have 2 minutes for you to answer that question. I know it's a big question.
Okay. So, well, the Institute have seen hundreds of thousands of people. And the people that recover, totally recover, of course, they go home from here, but everything that they learn, they go home and they continue. So this is where you learn. This is where we are not a clinic. We are a wellness institute. All we want to do is to get you on the right track, make better choices, and know what those choices are. So, you know, people that heal, we have people at the Institute right now that have healed themselves, people who needed liver transplant, people who needed kidney transplant, you know, heart transplant, they're here to just keep recovering, to keep being a part of the humanity that, and also just being here means that you see that the world is okay. The world can be normal, because normality out there is to eat heavy processed foods that took weeks to come into the store, meats that been animals that's been slaughtered months ago. If you really were a carnivore, you wouldn't eat something that was slaughtered months ago. You would eat it with flesh and liver and heart and blood. You would eat the whole thing. And, you know, I was brought up on a carnivorous diet. My first 15 years, of course, in Sweden, it was meat, fish, chicken, and tons of milk and milk products. And when I became vegan, it was like my consciousness grew. And that's why I got into this field. At 18, I went to a clinic that was healing people of arthritis, inflammatory problems, Crohn's, colitis, diabetes, you name it, everything but cancer. Because that was kind of an untold law that in Europe, that you don't naturally treat people with cancer. But then Ann Wigmore, who healed her stage 4 colon cancer, came 76 the first time to Sweden to lecture. And I said, of course it works for cancer. And we connected, and then that's how I came to America. And I thought I came for her, and then I realized I actually came for Maria Clement, and we've been married for a long time. And it's been an enormous study in humanity to be here and to see what's possible. It is the most beautiful thing, and people become friendly, they become loving to each other, and they help each other. You don't see that outside of the society, or in the society, I should say, because we became unfriendly, stressed, and we don't have time for each other. It's very sad, and it needs to change, and it will change.
Well, Anna Maria, thank you so much for that really amazing presentation and taking the time to answer all these questions. So the audience would like to show their appreciation as well. So we're going to open up the mics and unmute them, and you'll hear a whole cacophony of thanks from the audience.
Anna, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna Maria.
Love you, Anna.
Over.